Good morning, boys and girls. I'm going to be reading chapters 7 and 8 of Lulu is Getting a Sister today. Lulu, who was not in the mood for friendly conversation, grabbed the kid's hand and headed for the door. But there wasn't a second of silence because this pint-sized, blue-eyed, button-nosed, frizzy-haired talking machine started talking and never shut up. So, hello, I'm Mitzi. I'm 8. Well, practically 8, and I'm a twin. And my birthday, both our birthdays, is August 9th. And my favorite color is silver. And my favorite song is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. My favorite movie is, I still can't decide. And I love doing cartwheels and jump rope and lots of other fun things like, and without even taking a breath, she raced through a very long list of those other fun things, pausing finally to ask an important finger and foot tapping Lulu. But there's one thing I'm super good at. Want to guess what it is? Just tell me already, said Lulu. Let's get this over with. Scrabble, said Mitzi. Scrabble. I can play that game better than practically anyone else. No matter who I'm playing against, even boys and girls who are older than you, I usually win. Scrabble. You know about Scrabble, right? But just in case you don't, I'm going to try to explain it to you fast. Each player starts with 7 small tiles, each of which has its own letter. These letters are used to make words on the Scrabble board. Some of the letters will get you high points, and so will some of the words, if they're placed on spaces that double or triple your score. So, if you're clever about where you're placing your words, and if you know lots of weird words using X, Q, and Z, you'll be the player who gets the most points, you'll be the highest score, and you'll be the winner of the Scrabble game. Lulu, you won't be surprised to hear, wins most of her Scrabble games. She beats her dad and her mom and her grandma Gertie. She expects to win whenever she plays, which is why she's feeling annoyed by what this not yet 8-year-old Mitzi is saying. In fact, she is feeling extremely annoyed that this little kid seems to believe that if she plays Scrabble with Lulu, she, Mitzi, could win. So you're super good, growled Lulu, pulling Mitzi into Camp Sisterhood's indoor games cabin. We'll see about that. Sit down. We're playing Scrabble. Less than an hour later, Mitzi had beaten Lulu badly by using outrageous words like oxo and zarf, and getting extra points by using all 7 of her letters to make another dumb word that no one had ever heard of. If you're wondering what that was, I'm happy to tell you it's kekik, a kind of bird. If you're wondering what the score was, I've decided not to tell you. It's too embarrassing. Mitzi wasn't worried about embarrassing. She jumped up out of her chair and twirled around in a victory dance, and then she shouted, maybe 100 times, I won, I won, I won, I won, after which she cheerfully said to a very uncheerful Lulu, and what do you have to say about that, older sister? Lulu narrowed her eyes and not too nicely answered Mitzi. I've got 2 things to say, she said. 1, I'd rather have a cavity, a bellyache, a blister, a splinter, or mosquito bites than be your older sister. So, you can just stop calling me that right now. And 2, sit down. We're playing another game. This time, the Scrabble game went a whole lot faster. It ended with Mitzi having the higher score. And after she danced her victory dance and did her I won once more, Lulu, red in the face, again said, we're playing again. They played again and yet again. Mitzi beat Lulu, and yet again Mitzi danced her dance and I won all over. So as Lulu was clearing the tiles from the board so they could start the next game, Mitzi objected. We're not supposed to be inside all morning. We also need to be outside, going swimming and other fun things. But all we've done for about 4 hours is play Scrabble. I really want to go swimming before they ring the bell for lunch. And besides, it's boring beating you all the time. Uh-oh, Mitzi had just gone too far. Way too far. Far along, with all that shouting and dancing whenever she beat Lulu, she now was na-na-na-nang, rubbing it in. Nobody dares to treat Lulu that way, unless, like Mitzi, they simply didn't know what they're doing, or they foolishly think that it might be amusing to see how Lulu gets ready to throw a tantrum. It is not amusing. Lulu's face, which was already red, became redder. Her hands clenched into fists. Her eyes kind of popped, and although steam actually didn't and actually couldn't come out of her ears, anyone looking at Lulu might think that it had, which is why a mother, one of those parents, remember, who lurked in the background, decided that something bad was about to occur. And why? Just as Lulu was getting ready to throw herself down on the floor into her heel-kicking, arm-waving, screeching until all the light bulbs burst tantrumy stuff, this mother dashed out from the background and poured a bucket of water on Lulu's head. Okay, chapter 8. 20 minutes later, after Lulu had changed into dry clothes, Lulu and Mitzi were sitting in the office of a smiling, call me Debbie. The mom who had poured the water on Lulu's head had left the room after explaining why she'd done what she'd done. It was like there was steam coming out of her ears. And now the girls were taking turns insisting that what had happened had absolutely been the other girl's fault. Feelings were hurt, tempers were lost, and lessons need to be learned, said Call Me Debbie, giving each girl an encouraging pat on the head, and I need to stop saying this, still smiling. So, what are these lessons? You shouldn't be a sore loser, said Mitzi. You shouldn't be a rude winner, Lulu replied. That's excellent, girls. Just listen to each other. And also, said Call Me Debbie, when you meet tomorrow morning, try to do a little less inside and a little more outside. She paused for a moment, perhaps to make sure they were listening to her, and then she repeated again. Don't forget, less inside, more outside, or else it's going to go on your permanent record. Lulu had no idea what go on your permanent record meant, and neither do I, but she knew that she didn't like the way it sounded. So when she and her sibling met on Tuesday morning, she announced that they'd skip the game cabin and head directly down to the lake for a swim. When they reached the water's edge, Lulu said, let's race. And just to make it fair, because she figured she'd win by a mile, I'll give you a head start by counting slowly to 10 before I jump in. By the time Lulu finished counting, however, the race was already over and she had lost. Lost to this pint-sized, not yet 8-year-old. Next time, I'm only counting to 5, she announced. But it didn't help. She lost to this pint-sized, frizzy-haired, not yet 8-year-old, and even when Lulu said, you're not getting any more head starts, she was beaten a third, fourth, and then a fifth time. Beaten 5 times in a row by this point, pint-sized, frizzy-haired, button-nosed, not yet 8-year-old, who did just a little victory dance and only a few I wons. And then stroked Lulu's arm with pity in her eyes. Poor Lulu, she said, but you shouldn't feel bad. Please do not feel bad. You tried so hard, you did the best you could. I don't need you feeling sorry for me, said Lulu, who was absolutely outraged that she was being treated so, what's the right word? So, I think we should go with condescending, which is when a person believes she's so much better and greater than somebody else. She acts all gooey and kind to the poor little thing, condescending. I'm only feeling sorry for you because there's no way you could beat me, she replied. I've been on a swim team ever since I was 3. But you swam very well. You did some excellent kicking. Good job. Lulu did not want to hear good job from some pint-sized, frizzy-haired, button-nosed, blue-eyed, incredibly irritating, not yet 8-year-old. Stop talking, Mitzi, she shouted, and listen to me. Wait, first listen to me. There's something important I've got to tell you, the girl insisted. Like more things, Lulu growled, that you do better than me? No, it's about a little trick that just got played on you. She cleared her throat and said softly, I'm Fritzy, not Mitzi. Say that again, asked Lulu, who couldn't believe what she just heard. I'm Fritzy, Mitzi's twin, and no one can even tell us apart. So we thought it'd be fun for us to switch places. For quite a while, after that news was delivered, neither girl said a word. Fritzy just stood there looking quietly pleased with herself, and Lulu also just stood there, angrily thinking about the things she didn't think. Lulu didn't think being tricked was fun. She didn't think that losing 5 races was fun, and she certainly didn't think it was fun to be treated so, what was that word? So condescending, like Fritzy was great, and she was some pitiful thing. Just thinking about how not fun it all was, Lulu got madder and madder. And if a parent hadn't quietly been lurking in the background, she'd have grabbed a huge hunk of Fritzy's hair and pulled. Instead, she made her meanest face and her meanest voice. She chanted this chant. If I had met a wicked witch, I'd happily have her kissed. If in exchange she swore I'd never have you for a sister. Fritzy, to Lulu's great annoyance, did not seem the slightest bit bothered by this chant, so Lulu decided to go for a second verse. And if she wanted more, then 10 kisses more I'd have kissed her, and 10 more times she would have sworn she'd never be your sister. Fritzy continued to barely pay attention, and this made Lulu so much madder than she'd been before that even though a parent was quietly lurking in the background, she still grabbed a huge hunk of Fritzy's hair and pulled. And that is the end of chapter 8. So next time I will be reading chapters 9 and 10. Have a good day, guys.